Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, excuse me while I fluff my natural eyebrow. Okay. Oh, thank you, Elmo. So sweet. You know, I get a little hungry in the morning. Oh! Hello, Miss Deb. I got a cookie for you. You too? Thank you so much, Cookie Monster. Thank you. I love my friends. I'm a little thirsty, though. Cookie Monster, are you getting emotional? Why? Because it's a new year. It's very exciting. Oh, let me help you. Let me fold this napkin up.
Deborah, I like her, but she's like maybe 4.5, you know? Okay, yeah. I mean, she's cute, but she's not like cute.
Guys, well, we are back in the building and we got to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac season 7, episode 12. It's called Mic Drop. All right. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, or if you're new to the channel, I am on vacation right now. But I said, you know what, we got to have a little Potomac Ponderosa because this episode was a little bit crazy for me. And there were some things that happened surrounding the episode that you guys have already seen that I felt like we needed to discuss, particularly Miss Deborah. Okay, so we're going to talk about Miss Deborah in detail. But yeah, man, like, I mean, first of all, Happy New Year. Okay, let me just get that out the way first. Happy New Year to all who celebrate it. I know they say the real New Year doesn't start until the spring, but because that's what's going on right now, we'll go ahead and say it right now. And if we need to say it again, we'll say it again. That depends on when you need to start your New Year's resolutions. If you didn't, accomplish what you needed to accomplish in January, we'll start all over in February because we're going to get these things done this year. Now, anyway, now that I've spoken a word into your life, let's get into this review. Now, you know what's funny to me? And I was trying to think about how I was going to do this review because I'm kind of using a little bit of a different format today. But I was thinking to myself, I wonder how Deborah started off 2022. Because I always think about how we start off with a plan. You know what I'm saying? When I think at the top of the year, we all start off with a what am I going to do this year? What's going to be that thing that, takes life over the top? You know what I'm saying? Whether that be financially, whether that be career-wise, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's just, a goal that you want to accomplish for yourself. Like, for me, I'm trying to live the soft life in 2023. Work a little less, still make the same amount of money, if not more, you know what I'm saying, by doing less, because that's what the people say is possible. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm thinking to myself, Miss Deborah, what was your resolution for 2022? Was it to, I don't know, was the plan, you know what? Ashley got that show over there that them girls be watching. Ashley got that show over there. Now, I wonder if I should do that show. How can I do it? I got it. Did somebody say Giselle had a plan for this season? I'll piggyback off of that. Okay, maybe I'll just piggyback off of that. And that's how we'll work our way on. Now, listen. I don't know Miss Deborah like that. And this ain't really no knock against Miss Deborah on a personal level because, Miss Deborah might have a beautiful life on the side or whatever she do, but I mean, in terms of the show, that's all we're going to talk about right now. In terms of the show, Miss Deborah gives me, thirsty person that wants to get on a reality TV show. And I really am trying not to because I don't want to come down on this lady because, again, I don't know her from Adam. All right. Producers did try to do a little bit of a good job with saying oh, here goes Miss Deborah at the beginning of the season. And I felt like I said something early about you know what? We're getting Ashley's friend this season. I feel like we're getting more of people's friends, but I always recognize that usually these things come with a price tag. You know what I'm saying? And for us, that price tag is the storyline that is as manufactured as they come. And let me tell you why right off the rip, because reality TV, as I talk about oftentimes, is a game of show and tell, okay? Television in general is usually kind of show and tell, if you really want to be honest about it, if you look at it from a practical perspective. And I try to do that on this channel as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? I ain't always right, I ain't always wrong. But at the end of the day, I try to look at it from that general perspective. And, with reality TV, it's show and tell. And what I mean by that is, the producers or the cast members can say something happened, right? They can tell us about an inciting incident and, you know, something that, you know, sets off a chain of events that, you know, by which the season is built around, i.e. Giselle's assertions that Chris was trying to see if she was with it by having this conversation with her in the hotel room when her beauty and glam squad was gone. And she also called him a sneaky link. This was the inciting incident for a lot of the drama that has been occurring, for which Candace has actually done a pretty good job of actually dismissing and not seeming to really care about it. But anyway, I say all that to say that it's one thing for you to tell us that an incident happened, right? And so, you know, that has been the case in 2022 for a lot of reality TV. We were told a lot of things happened, but we didn't actually get to see it. You know what I'm saying? But the proof be in the pudding when production can actually show us, right? So you have the word of the cast member when somebody tells us something, and then you have the actual production footage when production shows us something. Which do you feel like is more reliable? Somebody telling us something that happened that we couldn't see, that we don't sometimes halfway even trust what they're saying anyway? Or when production can show us an action that was taking place on screen, on camera, that we can actually physically see with our own two eyes? Which one are you more likely to believe? Now, I know for some people, depending on who you like that day or not, you will believe whatever you want to believe. But at the end of the day, the proof be in the pudding, objectively speaking. So when we're talking about show and tell, Miss Deborah, what you were saying won't add up. Ashley, what you were saying won't add up, because Ashley also tells us in this episode that the other friends were saying, oh yes, he was flirting with us too, but we didn't see that on camera. None of those other girls spoke up and said that. They was just saying, oh, the tea will be spilt. The tea will be spilled. What tea? What tea? Okay. This is like me trying to go to Starbucks and get my medicine ball and them telling me, on a regular, they ain't got it, okay? This is not the medicine ball I asked for. This is that cockamamie stuff that y'all make with that lemonade in it, okay? That y'all try to pass off as a medicine ball, but I be drinking it just because I want something like a medicine ball. You know what I'm saying? And Starbucks, I'm gonna need y'all to work on that. Get your medicine balls intact. Y'all know we trying to get them medicine balls. Anyway, now that I've gotten through that, I just had to get that off my chest because I felt like we needed to really have a ponderosa about that. You know what I'm saying? And so any would-be reality TV star, when you think about coming on a show, you know what I'm saying? And you think about what your story is going to be, and you think about what you want to accomplish in the new year, what I need you to do is come with something a little bit more concrete. You know, a little something that you can stand on and not sink into like quicksand. You know what I'm saying? The episode is called Mic Drop, okay? It's really based around Karen's well, I don't want to call it an improv show. I mean, it was more like, it was the Karen variety show. She was hosting a variety show. That's pretty much what it was. And you know I love me some Karen Hugo. I does. But it was a variety show. Yes, it was. Because the camera says that she was only on stage for 25 minutes out of the 75 minutes that the show actually ran for. And I feel like when you be the star, you need to be on there most of the time, okay? Now, anyway, in terms of what I would rate this episode, what would I rate this up at 8? That's the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm gonna give it an 8. And the reason why I say I'm gonna give it an 8 is because, again, when we talk about this game of show and tell, I feel like there was not a lot to show and there was a whole lot to tell. And I feel like when you cannot back up the show with the tell, it really don't make for that good of an episode. And honestly, to be quite honest with you, I felt like Ashley was trying her hardest to produce some moments, and they didn't really work out for her because Candace wasn't falling for the traps. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know I like Ashley. I really does. I like her a lot. I do. Real gorgeous girl. Yes, indeed. You know, lot going for her, you know what I'm saying? And you meet her in person, she's just as lovely as sweet as pie. She's got a real chill persona. You know what I'm saying? But we talking about the Ashley on the show, okay? So let's just make that distinction, because the Ashley on the show is I don't know. I felt like she was working overtime today. She was pedaling, you know, like she was pedaling like she was on a Peloton, but not going nowhere. Does that make sense? It'd be like, I'm getting my exercise today. I'm gonna pedal on this Peloton, but you got it on the lowest setting, so you can easily, you know, push them wheels. You know what I'm saying? You can easily get to but you ain't really getting that much of a workout in because you ain't really putting that much effort into it because ain't nothing to show. Meanwhile, what y'all gonna rate this episode? I know it's 8 minutes in and we still ain't got no I don't know your ratings yet, so go ahead and tell me your ratings in the conversation down below. I needed to get these things out. I needed to purge my feelings because they was welling up deep inside of me like I had to throw up. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all know if I don't say it, I'm gonna throw up. Okay, y'all don't want me to throw up. Meanwhile, it's been a minute. I missed y'all. So okay. Karen heads down to the improv, for a walkthrough, and she's the first actual non-comedian, did you know, to ever grace the stage of the improv. Now, I did not know that. I've been to the improv quite a few times. I saw Lonnie Love there. I saw Aisha Tyler there. I feel like Lonnie Love was a little funnier than Aisha Tyler, but I do like elite Aisha Tyler on Criminal Minds. But I don't like what they're doing with her character this season. Are y'all watching it? I digress. Anyway, she talks about what the show is going to be. Ray seems a little confused about what the show is, as well as what Grindr is. All she knows is that this is something that Karen had alleged that Michael had been on, and he wants to know, is it going to be a Grindr party tonight? And Karen is like, there might be a Grindr party here tonight. I don't know, but the show is going to be a hit. Anyway, Mia is up with her kids, and Gordon and, Jacqueline stops by as she's wont to do. And, there's some discussion about the seating arrangements as they sit down to have their little ponderosa on the couch. And Mia brings up everybody being curious about Mia, Gordon, and Jacqueline and whatnot and who to what. And Gordon says, they talk about Mia and Jacqueline showering together, which I guess if you want to save some water, let's go ahead and do so. I'm all for conservation and stuff like that. But anyway, Gordon would like more showers with Mia, but because he would like to save some water too. But Mia really don't like showering with Gordon because she like her water hot and he like it lukewarm. And Mia, I'm right there with you. I want my water hot, hot, hot. And if you want to get in this thing and you want a cold shower, you're gonna have to leave me out of it. So we're not conserving water over here. And so anyway, they joke about everybody thinking that they are a threesome or whatever. And, Mia brings up being overserved on the beach in Miami. And she brings up the Porsche conversation where it was alluded to, or, there was some discussion about whether or not Mia paid for Jacqueline's Porsche, okay? And so this is where we get the true tea of the situation. Apparently, Gordon helped Jacqueline put a down payment down on this Porsche, okay? Because she had been overspending trying to get out of a bad relationship, okay? Now, I'm no financial advisor or nothing like that. And I can't really, I don't pretend to try to give financial advice. Although if you go to my personal channel, I will give you my life experiences that may help you along your journey. I will be producing more content over there because I quite enjoy, mental health type discussions and things like that. Link is in the description down below. We'll have some commentary and about life things, and I want to do some creative videos. But again, I digress. It's been a minute, and I just am excited to talk to y'all today. And so back to what I was saying, life advice. This is all that is. Well, it's not really advice because I'm not a financial advisor. So go find yourself one. But what I was thinking was this. I don't know if I'm trying to get out of a disastrous relationship, which I'm assuming is what was going on. I don't know necessarily if I would be spending the money that a Porsche would cost, because why would I need a Porsche when I can drive myself a Honda Accord that can get me from point A to point B to my job and to my work and things like that, when I can spend a little less money on that car payment, unless my Porsche was from maybe 1984, in which case the Porsche payments might be a little bit less, but I don't know if you would need the necessary help for the down payment. Regardless, I'm not in Jacqueline's pockets. I ain't trying to be in her pockets. But what I am saying is, to me, I don't know if a Porsche is the necessary thing that I would really go for when I was trying to get myself back up on stable ground, especially if I need somebody's help with a down payment or something like that. No, you know what? Let me use your money for something a little bit more, conservative. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to spend as much on me, and I can pay a little bit less than that monthly car note. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly she was saying she had the means to pay for things, but there's a little credit thing to go along with buying a car and stuff like that, unless you got an LLC, but that's a whole different conversation. Maybe she didn't have the LLC. I don't know. So anyway, the consensus is really that Giselle and some of the girls are jealous and wanting a come up for their own sugar daddy, okay? Because they're thinking that Gordon is the sugar daddy. But Mia also has told us that Gordon ain't got no money. But I don't know why she told us that. I probably wouldn't say that, but she said it, not me. Anyway, Ashley and her gaggle of friends, aka the pretty young things, aka the pretty wild things, aka pretty little liars. I don't know. Nobody seems to be able to corroborate this tale of what the name of the group actually is. Destiny's Child. I don't know. Whoever, JJ Fad, whatever the group is called. And so they're meeting up with Giselle at dinner at the Mayflower, okay? And oh, here is Deborah again. And you know if Giselle is showing up, it's going to be some tea spilled, okay? Because that's her only purpose on the show. She's there to move story and to get the tea and to spread the tea, and so that the stories can go on and the scandals can proceed as planned. And she is really there to make the magic of the show happen. Whether it's magic or not, dark magic, bad magic, I don't know. She's just there to make it happen however she can. So anyway, she brings up the spring fling and, well, who wants to start? Who wants to give me the tea? And of course, Deborah is willing, ready, and able to do so. Now, according to Miss Deborah, Chris was over there smiling at her. You know what I'm saying? He had a gleeful grin on his face, looking like he was up to something, okay? According to Miss Deborah. Now, the cameras don't show this. The camera shows him in his phone, busying himself with other work, probably doing some work for his business and whatnot, minding his own, pretty much. She talks about, for a good 2 minutes, he was just staring at her and smiling at her face. And again, even when we get dialogue of the scene, it's like she's introducing herself to him. And he basically says, oh, my name is Chris. I guess you shouldn't introduce yourself in any way, shape, or form. He probably should have told her a fake name, because then, oh, well, my husband's name is Chris, is what she says. Oh, and he says, okay, well, Chris is a common name. That's not what she told the group. Basically, what she says, all Chris's are the same, and you know what we like, and you know how we like to do it. You know how we like it. That's what she heard in her head. So anyway, apparently the other girls heard it in their heads too, as Ashley is so want us to believe, but nobody else said that at the table. So again, a case of show and tell, and the show and tell don't match. So, Ashley is now rationalizing why Candace needs to know why Candace is reacting the way she's reacting. And Ashley also wants to know, well, oh my gosh, should I tell Wendy too? I guess I should tell Wendy. And the producers can't even be bothered with this scene, this shenanigan enough to even show us this full scene. We will get it in a flashback later on, but I digress. Deborah thinks she's going to have a longer conversation with Chris. I guess she thought her star was on the rise today. Okay, they have given her a mic, a boom, and she is ready, willing, and able to do whatever she needs to stir up the juice. Now, again, Miss Deborah, if you happen to be watching, I doubt you is, because I feel like your schedule is busy. But what I'm saying is, please don't take offense to what I'm saying, because I feel like it's just me reacting to what I see on the screen. And what I'm telling you is that your show and your tale don't match. Meanwhile, Ashley decides she's got some work to do, okay? She better get home, get her production notes ready, get the camera crew ready, and set up the filming times. So Wendy's still recovering from her surgery, and wow, she looks amazing in her new confessional. That black hair, that red dress is everything. Go Dr. Wendy. She lets Eddie know that Deborah too, okay, also has some things to say about him. Apparently, he was being flirtatious by way of smiling, okay? So if you are standing in a room, this is what you should not do, ladies and gentlemen, unless you want to be accused of coming on to any and everybody around you. Please, when you walk into the room, frown, okay? Eddie, don't go into any other room looking happy. Don't be a happy person. Don't have a happy marriage. Don't do any of these things. I honestly suggest you just stay at home, to be quite frank with you, because I think that these women will turn water into wine if they can, because to me, it's just like, it's just, at this point, it's so predictable, and I'm kind of over it. Come up with something. I mean, something substantial. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got real stories that y'all could be talking about. Talk about that. Anyway, Mia, Giselle, and Robin link up and they chat about, nuts dropping and stuff like that. And that Karen revealed, and yet another flashback scene with the core four. Karen revealed that Mia dropped down low and put a flashlight up Jacqueline's poon. And so, Mia seems pretty open about it or whatever, but I'm thinking she's kind of not appreciating Karen spilling the tea, but there's more to the story that Mia's not telling us, because I think she's being a good friend at this point. But anyway, Giselle then asked about Karen saying that Mia slept with Peter's girlfriend and why Mia didn't mention it. And Mia's like, well, you didn't ask. It didn't come up. And Giselle's like, well, all we did was talk about Peter Thomas. Wasn't y'all fighting about Peter Thomas down to the bar one? Anyway, Apparently the girlfriend whose name we do not know, didn't really sleep with Gordon the night before the wedding or the wedding night, whatever. I can't keep up. Anyway, she didn't sleep. She just played around with him a little bit. She tinkered, she took a shoehorn and, tinkered around and, teased and touched on some things. And, that was pretty much it. And then the next day she sang at the wedding, that's how it usually happens. And so, but now they're not messing with each other. But Mia is annoyed, and she's like, well, Karen wouldn't like it if I told y'all why she don't really talk to Charisse like that. And Giselle is like, do tell me the tea. And Mia's like, I ain't telling you that. And so anyway, it's the day of the improv, and Karen arrives, and she's ready for all the Ladams to come out and, the Ladams, the fans and stuff like that, the Beehive, the Navy. Okay, does Robin have the Robins? Okay, the Robinettes, the Dixons, the Embezzles. What does she have? Does she have any of that? Okay. Giselle, Mia, and Jacqueline all arrive, and Ashley has brought along Miss Deborah, of course, for the well-produced confrontation that she plans on having tonight. Ooh, Ashley is ready to make some good TV tonight. Give her a raise, okay, and a camera crew. So anyway, Giselle is all too happy because Candace just don't believe nobody when it come to Chris. She needs to start believing these girls. Candace and her mom are at home prepping to go out. But backstage, Karen just wants her mic to work, unlike Robin's. But meanwhile, back at the table, there's some discussion about whether or not Karen liked bumping boobies with Mia and her Barbie boobies. I don't know where this conversation was supposed to go, but I guess the allegation is that Charisse was being shady by posting something about it in a group text message to the girls. Charisse also was not invited to this, and not even a plus one could get her through the door. Candace and her mom arrive, and, Ashley gets right down into Mia probing into Jacqueline's nether regions, okay? It turns out that Jacqueline, according to her own self, had a yeast infection, and that was the reason why Mia was down there, probing and checking things out to see if the coast was clear, okay? And Mia was like, well, I wasn't going to say all that, okay? But, Mia is mad that Karen spilled her tea because she never spilled she never spilled Karen's tea. So the show is packed, and Robin arrives, followed by Gordon, and Robin whispers over to Candace that Deborah is indeed the friend that was spreading the news that Eddie smiles a lot and that Chris told her his name. The sin of it all. Okay? And so Candace is not going to acknowledge Sesame Street, aka Deborah. Now, when I heretofore now refer to Miss Deborah as Sesame Street, again, this is nothing personal. This is basically what Candace has referred to her as. So if I slip of the tongue and call her Sesame Street, it is not my own fault. I know not what I do. And so anyway, production indicates that there is zero budget for the songs that I think that one of the performers was performing. And I feel like production did a lot of, shenanigans tonight, which normally I'm a big fan of. I guess in the context of watching the episode, I wasn't as moved by these antics, particularly that silent ending. And I get what they were doing though, because it kind of made sense to do the silent film aspect when you can't, get the production budget for, the songs, okay? And so for me, I just feel like either pay for the publishing, or if you don't pay for the publishing, then it kind of makes you, the production studio, seem a little cheap because you can't get the money for the publishing, right? But I get it. I get what they were trying to do, and I think it made sense in light of that. But I would have still rather heard the actual altercations that we're going to be seeing next week because they look rather exciting to me. Anyway, but that's just my own little personal pet peeve. Y'all know normally I like what production does, but I got to be honest when I don't. So anyway, Robin knows what's up with this whole scene that Ashley is trying to produce. Anyway, I had already said that, so I digress. Karen is on stage for about 25 minutes of the 75 minutes that the actual show is running, okay? That's at least what production, tells us. So it again feels more like Karen is hosting a variety show, which honestly, if that's the case, then I'm here for it. I would definitely go and pay for it to see a Ladam, a night and friends and drink and stuff like that. Just have some food there for me. They do sizzle topics. Mia then questions her about running her mouth, which we had already seen online, about probing in Jacqueline's poon. And Karen says, well, whatever I said about you was true. And Mia's like, well, just make sure that you keep my name out your mouth when you're talking about my business and stuff like that. Leave me out of it. And Karen just wants her to stop ruining her show. And if you want to go and build a poem with Jacqueline, go do that, okay? Sadly, I don't think they'll be building any poems because it seems like those days are over because they're not getting along. So anyway, Ashley introduces Deborah to Candiace, who then tells Candiace that yes, Chris was flirting heavy. He was flirting heavy when he told her his name, okay? And when he was looking at his phone. Candiace does oblige her just a little bit, as you know, Deborah tells her tale of Chris's elbows coming a little close to her, and apparently he was flirting with all the friends, but we didn't see it, okay? Mia pretty much sums this up, basically, with a scathing, almost near silent, hushed read about about Miss Deborah's looks. Now listen, here on this channel, I might comment on a wig or what someone is wearing and stuff like that, you know, but just as a man, you know, I'm not going to comment on, you know, the woman's looks or anything like that, because I just feel like that would not be the way that I would want to do that, right? But I will say this, right? I mean, I do feel like this. If you're going to come onto a show and you're going to, like, you know, talk about all these men is flirting with you and stuff like that, I mean, I do need you to be like, I mean, I need you to come with the bang, bang, pow, 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 pow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to be like, I need you to push through, okay? I need you to pump through, tip through in your best attire. I mean, I need you to, like, I mean, everything need to be shellacked and in place. You need to be the baddest thing walking, okay? And, you know, I just think that, you know, Deborah has another type of aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the vixen aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? That I would assume that all these men would be dropping their wives for. You know what I'm saying? So, and she got a husband. So why would you even feel comfortable talking about all this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my husband would be like, if I was her, I would be looking like, why are you on this show talking about these other men flirting with you and stuff like that? What did you do in that situation to stop it? That's the question, okay? Anyway, the show ends with another Jasmine Masters performance for which they cannot afford the publishing to pay to show it on TV. And Ashley is steadily trying to produce this moment with Candiace and Deborah to clear the air, and Candiace is giving her zero energy. Ashley's trying to, you know, well, don't be dismissive of my friend. And Candiace is basically like, no, ma'am, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with Sesame Street. I'm out of here. Deuces. See ya. Goodbye. Das vidanya. Finite. The end is over. Let me leave. Get off my back. Get off my D. I'm out of here. Sayonara, sucker. I'm over it. I don't believe none of this drama because I don't believe it either. You know, the camera don't show nothing. You ain't got nothing for me. I ain't got nothing for you. And you will not be a part of my story, okay? Deuces. That's the episode.